Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you another video. All right, got 25 minutes to talk. It's the only space I got, so we'll do the best I can. But, what's out there? So, I believe it was Drew Eubanks who got punched in the mouth by Isaiah Stewart before the basketball game yesterday between the Detroit Pistons and the Phoenix Suns. I don't actually know where that game took place. I'm not sure. But they met in the tunnel, and they didn't go well. I guess specifically for Eubanks, who got punched. Stewart got arrested. You know, it's a lot being said about that. At first, when I heard about it, to be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I just didn't think much of it. Only because when you've been paying attention to this game as long as I have, you just know of stories like that. It is a thing because Eubanks pressed charges. But if he wouldn't have pressed charges, I don't know that it may not even hear about it, to be honest with you. But it's one of those situations where you got to wonder, because at the end of the day, Isaiah Stewart has a reputation at this point for being a hothead just from the sole incident of trying to come after LeBron James with a whole lot of violence in his mind. Now, he saw blood. He's one of those people who you see his own blood and he just wants to draw blood from somebody else inherently. And, you know, I mean, if I could speak freely, I just think there might be something worth looking at in regards to his mindset and anger management and mental health. Might be something that needs to be addressed there, man. I think so. I thought it was a terrible business decision being that demonstrative toward LeBron James. Granted, just in the sense of, man, punch me, I'm mad. Yeah, I mean, on its surface, if you're going to think like that, of course, you get mad at LeBron James. I thought LeBron James, you know, it was questionable when I looked back at the tape of that. Whether LeBron did it on purpose or not, I don't know. You know, I really don't know. But the way he was coming at LeBron James, completely unhinged, I just thought was a terrible business decision for him. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I think a lot of people was listening to Ticket TV this morning. He was saying that a lot of people are upset at the fact that Draymond Green didn't get no charges pressed against him, but that's at the discretion of the other party. If Jordan Poole don't want to press charges, he don't want to press charges. But I think the problem is, when you guys look at it like this, LeBron James is friends with Draymond Green, and all that comes with LeBron James's power in this league is going to make it so that Draymond's probably going to have a lot more rope in a situation like this versus a guy who came at LeBron James, who LeBron probably is definitely not cool with, and how much rope he would have with all the power that LeBron James has. It's not enough to be neutral. You an op. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, this is going to come to the forefront when you throw a punch at somebody. Yeah, the media's going to find out about it because you op to everybody LeBron James is cool with. You know, like, Rich Paul and them, they got a lot of power, fam. And they have a lot of friends who have a lot of power in the league. So it's like, if you're going to be a threat to LeBron, if we don't know if you crazy or not and you want to try to hurt the king, then yeah, the moment you do any damn thing, people are going to try to come at you. The media's going to come at you full force, and they're going to try to get you thrown out of the league, because we don't know next time if you're going to try LeBron James again, if he has to defend himself when he see you out in the street. So it's like, that's the problem that I think Isaiah Stewart, and that's why I said it was a terrible business decision for him to attack LeBron James. Because what you end up finding out is, like, LeBron come with a lot of people coming at you from a lot of different angles, and that mess with your money real bad. Real bad. This is a terrible business decision, making him your enemy on the basketball court versus Draymond Green, who's friends with LeBron James. Great business decision, because now Draymond Green is still in the league, as to where if Isaiah Stewart did the stuff that Draymond Green did, he'd already been out the league. Now, granted, different caliber player, Draymond Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer, 4-time NBA champion. You know, it's a different caliber. But I think at the end of the day, a lot of what Draymond's been able to benefit from in the second and third chances and fourth chances Draymond's benefited from is because he has those guys in his I don't know what the word would be, but those are his friends. He got the right friends. And I think it's safe for me to say from afar that Isaiah Stewart has the wrong enemies. He ain't gonna get the benefit of the doubt. And so it's unfortunate, especially if Isaiah's not well. Because if he were well, he probably wouldn't have made enemies. You know, he probably wouldn't be doing any of this. And I can say the same thing about Draymond Green, to be completely honest with you. But again, it's all about who you know. And that will determine how much support you get when you make mistakes, I think. I think that. But I'll tell you something else I think. I think Isaiah Stewart should have been traded. I don't think he should even still be a Piston. Not to say that I have any idea what prompted the fight, but at the same time, maybe this was the problem. Maybe this is why they couldn't move him. Because of this reputation. But if it were all possible that he would be moved, he probably should have been moved. So I'm going to say that. And maybe if he were in a better situation to play for, say, like the Celtics or somebody like that, maybe, just maybe he doesn't feel impulsive in such a way to punch Eubanks in the face. Because he's playing for a good team and he's playing for something that means something to him. Instead of continuing to be on a bad Pistons squad. Who knows? I'm not going to sit up here and say I know, but it's just worth speculating about. So yeah, that's one thing people are talking about. Something I was questioning on whether or not I wanted to cover. Another thing I was questioning about whether I wanted to cover or not was LeBron James in the Golden State Warriors rumors. I just don't think it holds much weight to have conversations about that after the trade deadline, because now it's nothing that can be done. Now, if you gave me that information prior to the trade deadline, it'd have been real juicy because you don't know if it's going to happen or not. But now that we know the trade deadline passed, I don't think that holds much purpose for a speculator like myself who wants to talk about player movement and stuff like that. Shoulda, coulda, didn't. It doesn't really hold a lot of weight. So it's one of those situations where it's like, all right, I think it's always going to be exciting, unless you're a Laker fan, of course, like I am. But just in general, I think it's always going to be exciting when you consider the idea of Steph Curry and LeBron James teaming up. Because it's hard to see a team beating them. If they have even the slightest amount of talent around them, they should be able to win most of the games they're in and probably a championship. And given the fact that they fought against one another so much in the past, it is something to think about when considering the fact that they could be teaming up in the future. I like the idea of that. If I'm anyone but a Laker fan, for which I am. But, you know what I mean? Like, for real, it's something to be said for having somebody like LeBron who can make plays so well off of others, and a guy like Steph Curry who can hit some of the most improbable shots anyone can hit. Yeah, you want to see that. And from what I understand, his friend Draymond Green was trying to lobby for that. Not surprised by that. If I'm Draymond Green, I want that done, you know, like, of course. But just the same, you know, as a Laker fan, I say, why don't we, you know, Steph Curry don't have to, you know, LeBron don't have to leave LA for us to want to go after Steph Curry, is what I'm saying to you. I'd love to have aging Steph Curry on my team. I would. Just put the right defenders around him, we're good. But I don't think either one of those players are leaving. You know, the reports are now that LeBron James is not leaving LA. Not to say that things can't change, but the reports that have been said is basically that they have a partnership with Jeanie Buss, Clutch and LeBron and them, that they respect a great deal. You know, when Jeanie was asked about trading LeBron James, she told who was asking that to have a conversation with Rich Paul. I think that was a very, very honorary thing to do when you consider the promise of being partners. We leave it up to them if they want to leave the Lakers or not. If they don't want to leave the Lakers, we're going to hold on, finish our contract here, and trust that they'll negotiate in good faith. I think that's a good thing. You know, one of the things I was talking about was behind, you know, from where I'm sitting, for which I have no knowledge of anybody, don't know nobody, you know, that kind of thing. My speculation was we could trade LeBron James because he could leave. But when you see the stance that Jeanie takes, it's basically saying, yo, I'm putting pure faith in them because they've done such good business with us. That to me tells me that Jeanie has already negotiated in such a way where she trusts them to do the same thing. You don't do that unless you believe that the other side would do the same thing. And then listening to Rich Paul on Stephen A. Smith's platform, for which I don't think I've ever heard Rich Paul's voice at all, so it was an important conversation if he getting on TV talking about it. He sounded like he wants to advise LeBron, and he was careful with his words because he knows he's a representative of LeBron, but also a friend, but has to play the role of representative because it's $1 billion at stake. You got to do your job, right? But he walked that thin line very responsibly to say, and he's advising LeBron James more or less to kind of not worry about leaving the Lakers, to keep this good partnership in place. That she is willing to have all the leverage and still provide the good faith of, if y'all want to leave, I'm leaving it up to him and his representation rather than using the leverage I have to move him without him having a no trade clause. I just think that is such a form of good faith that I think Rich Paul and Jeanie Buss and everybody representing Clutch kind of have a I got your back if you got mine type of relationship. And if that's the case, I don't have as much concern about LeBron James leaving the Lakers. Because even if he were to leave the Lakers, they are going to respect us so much that they're going to make sure we get the next superstar they got. And that's really what it's about. Can we have such a fantastic relationship with Clutch going forward to where even if we lose LeBron James in value, we could pick up Trae Young, we could pick up whoever else they're going to represent, and the best believe it's going to be somebody great. And so it's like, we want to have a relationship with Clutch for years to come. And it's bigger than just the future, the immediate future of what's going to happen next season. And what happens with LeBron James will determine how well that relationship goes forward. And I took that from listening to both of them speak. And it changed my point of view on what is wise to do. If that relationship isn't as trustworthy as it appeared, then you move the way I was moving prior to the trade deadline when I said we need to trade LeBron James. But I don't get the feeling that these are people who are, either side is worried about what's going to happen with them and their circumstances. I think they more so trust one another at this point. Now, that doesn't mean that LeBron James is always happy with us not making moves or is going to be pleased with the fact that the Lakers didn't make moves. But it does mean that his representation is keeping a certain level of balance, from which Rich Paul mentioned. Balance in how they're looking at it and thinking about the long-term relationship between the two parties as partners, which I think can really, really work for the Los Angeles Lakers going forward. So now that I have that bit of a tea leaf to work with, I'm not as upset with the Lakers not trading LeBron James, or dare I say letting him walk. Because if it's a difference between having this relationship with that power, which is Clutch management, then it seems to me, by way of the rhetoric that's being displayed to me, that this is the right way for both sides to play it. Jeanie, with all the power that she has to trade LeBron James, still give LeBron the good faith respect to say if he wants to leave, it's on him and his representation. I will only do so at the behest of their desire to be gone. And so that was powerful to me. That showed a certain level of maturity. In the sense that it spoke to what else could be possible for doing things the right way within that partnership. Without them saying, yo, we got a wink-wink deal to make sure that Trae Young comes here so long as we don't trade LeBron James. Essentially, they told me that's exactly what it is. Not necessarily Trae Young, but somebody big. And they're going to make sure we get the next somebody big. And not only that, but because we're the Lakers, we're probably going to have a line drive to that player wanting to be here anyway. It's not like we're the Minnesota Timberwolves and we're going to have to force that guy against his will to be a Laker. I told you how great the sunshine is out here. People want to be here, especially if you're wealthy. So, for me, I just feel like it's smart for the Lakers to keep that rapport with Clutch, knowing that they're going to continue to get the best players. And the event that we don't trade LeBron James and he happens to choose to go somewhere else, you may still have an opportunity to get those players in the future that they will have represented under their umbrella. So that's what comes to mind for me, man. I just think, they sounds like they have a good relationship. Management does, and ownership. So that's why I don't think LeBron James is actually going to go to the Knicks. I really don't. Because now you have to reestablish that relationship elsewhere. You got to learn to form that trust elsewhere. And with him already being a year 21 and 39 years of age, if you break this and go somewhere else and you can't establish that, now you would have broken this and don't have that established. And I just don't think that's good for LeBron James at the end of his career, especially when his son is being someone who he's trying to bring into the league. You're going to want that Laker relationship intact if you're LeBron James. So if nobody else wants your sons, we will take it. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's what the rhetoric also spoke to, was just an understanding that LeBron James has more to lose than his own career in this situation. So yeah, that's what came to mind, man. I just wanted to give y'all that before I go on in and grab some chicken from my favorite spot, go with my rice. But yeah, man, I just feel a lot better about the Lakers holding on to LeBron James, not trading him. I feel a lot better about the possibility of him re-signing with the Lakers. It's been reported the Lakers are going to try to make an effort to get Bronny James. And I tell you right now, if they can't get him right away, I don't know that LeBron James won't stay anyway, just because of that dynamic of the relationship and the partnership that's in place that's, dare I say, bigger than Bron himself, but more so about the two companies, Genie's brand and Clutch, being close and in agreement with one another, establishing that respect. So I don't think Bron's going anywhere, man. I really don't. I think he's going to stay. I didn't think that a couple of weeks ago, but I just think he has a better shot at his sons having a better path in the NBA if he keeps that relationship with the Lakers intact with Clutch. So that's what I got to say. My name is BL44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.